So we're basically just going to talk about the relocation and referral department this morning and tackle it from the perspective of, if you get a lead, now what do you do? If you get a referral, what do you do? The proper channels to follow, right? So that's kind of where we're coming from this morning. And yeah, so we can start with Megan. If you don't know Megan, she works in the relocation department with Ashley. You should know her.
Hi, everyone. So one thing that we wanted to just kind of emphasize about is some referral agreements. In the state of Florida, just to give you guys a heads up, all referral agreements do need to be signed by the broker, which is Craig, obviously. So please, when you do get a referral agreement, please make sure that you're sending it over to Craig and us over in the relocation department so we can sign it for you guys. Because remember that commission belongs to the broker and not to the agent. So always make sure that Craig is signing those referral agreements for you guys. That's just one little housekeeping item that we wanted to talk about with you guys. And there's Ashley. Yeah. You let me go to the next slide. Come on.
Embarrassing. It only, I even logged in like 7 minutes ahead of time. Goodness. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so basically we're going to help you guys kind of navigate what a referral is, and we're going to give you a step-by-step instruction on how to do that. But this is our why. So if you can't really tell what is going on in that little picture up there, that's a bunch of wires. And that's kind of what I feel like our referrals are doing right now, because there's so many different referral sources out there. And that's what we're trying to protect you from, just to make sure we're not crossing them all over the place. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we're avoiding unexpected and unnecessary referral fees, because I have to say something about our accounting department. Jessica and Joy are amazing, and Jessica will, she's too good at her job, to tell you the truth. So we want to make sure that we don't make Joy mad either, right? So if there's an issue that we can avoid as the Beggins team, let's do that up front and the right way.
Oh, thank you, Sam. I was just about to ask that question.
I just pulled the chat up. And to talk about those referral agreements too, if I see them in the loop and they're not signed by Craig, I will be starting to, message you through Dotloop and tell you, hey, this needs to be signed by Craig. I'm not just going to go ahead and do it and send it to him, because I want the agents to start getting in practice of getting him to sign it. So just that's going to be coming. So make sure to, pay attention to your Dotloop messages.
Yeah, and that's what's so wonderful about having Sam on this call right now, because she does see a lot of this before I would, right? And she's also amazing at her job, so she's gonna find it as well. And it's not something, find something or not. We're just really trying to protect you guys, truly.
Because we don't want double referral fees. That's never fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are going to have to come up as a team, as a management team. And Sam and I are going to address it on our manager call Monday about what we can do to, again, yeah, make a good practice for this.
Mm-hmm. In the chat before we go on, Jennifer Bell says, does this apply to Op City referrals?
It applies to every single referral ever. So basically, I appreciate you all being on here. It has nothing to do with a relocation department, right? So what we're really, the way we're titling it right now is agent services, right? We want to help you. That is our job, is to help you guys. We work for you. I mean, don't take that totally literally, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, we really do work to make sure that we protect your bottom line, your money. So it does, it applies to everything. So right here, I just did a real quick little graphic so that you could kind of see, just a reminder that Beggins has the relationship with Op City and all these different sources. This isn't all of them, of course, but he has, so Beggins is the one that signed the master agreement for Op City for you to be able to get these leads, right? So, and also for broker to broker, Relogy Advantage Network, and that is formerly known as the Cardis Advantage Network. We have broker to broker files that are coming in there. We've got corporate. And when I talk about corporate, we can talk about Ayers, Altair, Lexicon, Cardis, Serva. So there's all kinds of companies where leads are coming from, and we really just want to work with you to manage those effectively. Ojo, obviously, as well. And then we've got more lead sources coming up that are reaching out to us. We've got something called PCS grades that we're going to be launching very soon. Landed, Prime Street, Estately, Veterans United. We've got Urban Bound, and again, more. So, and again, all of these sources have agreements with Beggins, right? So we want to make sure that the next slide doesn't happen to you. And this is kind of a really basic, easy way to look at it. So John client's amnesia, right? He tip taps in the middle of the night, right? He puts his name in something because he's interested in XYZ. It gets captured. For example, let's say it got captured by Op City. It then goes over to Agent Sue. Agent Sue could be an agent over at the beaches, right? Well, and then he stops talking to her, stops answering the call, communicating. And 6 months later, when he has sold his home in Texas and he loved and trusted that listing agent, because obviously they've got to like you and trust you on that side. And that listing agent's like, oh my goodness, I've got an amazing agent. I'm going to look them up for you. And then they see Agent Dean. They love his profile, did a darn good job. The picture's amazing, especially, from high school. And then again, that referral is responsible. Beggins is responsible. They're the responsible broker for that transaction. So depending on the referral agreement time period, and it's usually either 18 or 24 months, right? Then as Beggins, because we accepted that lead from Op City initially, and even though they stopped corresponding with Agent Sue, now they came through as a broker to broker referral because now they're looking in Apollo Beach, right? John client's amnesia is not going to put together Century 21 Beggins and Century 21 Beggins, right? That's just not going to happen. So that's why we're kind of addressing this and trying to get in front of it, truly.
So if Agent Sue in the beginning had registered her client in Moxie, when that broker to broker referral came through, it could have been rerouted to Agent Sue instead of going to Agent Dean, right?
Well, really in this situation is a little different because Op City is going to be in Moxie. So
Okay.
For this specific one, so yeah, the one that we're going to bring Lana in for actually next, if we could start getting her ready, Chris, that'd be great. In this situation, it would already be in there. But if you did such a darn good job with your profile and everything else, if you do not provide the referral agreement that you had agreed to the brokerage, then we have no way to cross-reference that. Does that make sense? And then you could be working with somebody for 6 months. If you did not enter them in Moxie, it's not going to flag it for anybody. And then I'm going to get a message from Sam Beggins saying, I have this property under contract and there's a referral agreement attached, right? Or if it's on your contract deal sheet, make sure you fill out your contract deal sheets.
Yes, please.
Right, Ange? We'll say that a couple times for Ange, promise.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're dealing with this ahead of time. Yes, Ange, back at you. Okay, so in that situation, if the number 2 referral did not get put in Moxie, then we wouldn't know until 6 months, 10 months, 12 months later, when you do go under contract, that we now owe 2 referral fees, and that's a situation. So we need to all take responsibility on this to make sure that we're collaborating and get a smooth process going. And that's really what I've been working with. Both Megan and I have been working with Ange and Sam on.
So when you get a broker to broker, you want to register your client to make sure that there's no previous obligations, right? That's the bottom line.
That is in this situation. Oh, absolutely. That is definitely the bottom line. So once we get the referral agreement from you, and we're going to go through that in like detail in a few slides down, but once we get that from you, we will then cross-reference the contact information, the name, and then obviously we've got a lot of people in there. So we really need the email address and the phone number, so that we can make sure that we don't already have it in that system. So we can address it immediately and not be surprised 6 months down the road. Okay, so our next slide, I wanted to bring Lana on.
Yeah, I can unmute her again. I just thought there's an interference.
Okay, so I really appreciated what Lana did a little while back. Why am I?
Because Lana's on now, so it might. We're hearing from her.
Okay.
Lana, you'll have to turn your Bluetooth. To your car.
I'm in the car.
Okay, well, we can talk about it either way. I mean, go ahead and mute her for right now, then I'll just kind of go through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay. So basically, what do you do if you have a new client? We wanted to make sure that this entire presentation is what to do if, right? What steps am I going to take? What do I need to do to make sure, again, we're following procedure? So we're going to enter them into Moxie. And again, all clients need to be entered into Moxie, really to protect you, to tell you the truth, because you may get them from an open house, the grocery store, social media, tennis, if you are in a tennis club. I know pickleball is a big deal over here in Mare Bay right now, that we just fight about it, I think. And I mean, are you a pirate? Are you on some of the cruise? There's kids sports, or do you fish? There's just so many different things in your everyday life and people that you run into, that you want to make sure that you put them in the system so that we know if it came through another source, then it's yours, right? So when all clients are entered into Moxie, it gives you the ability to secure the client for yourself. If the client does come through another source, Beggins will be flagged and we will not accept the second referral. And you would be alerted that they're now looking and able to reach out to you would be able to reach out to your client. So maybe they hadn't reached out to you, or maybe they were going to get pre-approved, right? Maybe they bank with Navy Federal Credit Union, and then they come through as a Realty Plus cash reward Navy Federal client. When we get that, it would flag us that, wait a second, it's your client, right? And then we would be able to say, hey, heads up, they might not be reaching out to you, but they're reaching out to a bank. They're ready to go, okay? So if the client had previously been placed with Beggins, then staff would be able to evaluate the situation immediately. And again, not down the road, not 6 months when Sam and accounting, they're going to be but immediately, so there's not 2 referral fees involved. Most of the time we can try always to do something, but we are really stuck if we find out when you're getting your pack done, right? Because that's the big thing. So the story I was really impressed with Lana, going back to that, she had done an open house. She had 8 people sign up with her. Name and phone number and email, right? She took the time, and at the time it was Zap. She took the time to enter them all in. Okay. Well, about 1 or 2 weeks later, I receive a corporate Cardis file, home finding, right? So whenever we say that Cardis isn't real anymore, it's real in the corporate side. So that can be a whole nother class. But I received the lead, and it flagged it that Lana had just put them in as an open house lead 2 weeks before that. So it was also for like a different area. It was also for St. Pete, right? So when I saw that it was Lana had just had recent contact with them, I reached out to Lana and I gave her the opportunity if she wanted to keep this lead or not, right? Because it is in a different area. So it was a $350,000 or $400,000 lead that she actually worked and sold, by the way, because she took 5 minutes to put those 8 people in there.
The sooner you put them into Moxie, the better. That way we can catch double referral fees if that does happen. And that way we are guaranteed that that customer is going to stay with you. So please, like they say, prospect, but make sure you're putting your prospects into Moxie and everything, and update Moxie pretty much every day if you can, please.
So what I'm getting,
Ashley said, we're trying to protect you guys.
yeah. So what I'm getting is basically you put them in Moxie to protect yourself for unwanted referral fees. You're making sure that they don't have prior obligations, and you're also registering them to make sure that we know that there's a prior obligation on them, right? So you are claiming them, you are claiming that transaction basically, right? So if you don't do that, you're missing out on money. You're missing out on that deal. It can be reassigned. You aren't owed anything at that point.
Absolutely. See, Sam does it perfectly.
Are you ready for the next slide?
Chip.
Okay, gotcha.
Unless either of you ladies have something else that you want to.
Yeah, you'll be leaving free money. See,
free money. Okay. What to do when you have a referral, and what we're talking about here is outgoing referrals, right? Something that you are looking outside of the coverage area that you're physically going to be driving them around in, right? All outgoing referrals need to be submitted through bagginsreferrals.com. If you do have a special situation or you have a request, there is a comments box, and we're going to actually go through that and show you how fast it is, how fast and easy of a process this is. And again, all outgoing referrals, all outgoing, not just a network situation. Again, we're agent services, we're client services. We really, it's hard to get out of the mindset of the whole relocation word, right? So that's kind of where we're at on that. So let's say outgoing referral. Is your mom moving to Atlanta? I love the one, did you ask your sellers, even this was Megan's, did you ask your sellers where they're moving to during your listing presentation? Montana, I can totally help. So I did put this graphic over here because it's kind of cool. I'm sure it's going to be in Moxie as well. Okay. I'm sure it's going to be in Moxie as well, but I just thought it's a kind of a cool little graphic, and you could actually do this. It's an Instagram template, so you could upload it to your social media and just kind of remind your friends and family that Century 21 Beggins actually referred somebody to Atlanta, Georgia, right? Century 21 Premier. So it says the different Century 21s as well. Okay, so Leighton had a question. I got a referral through Ojo, and I manually entered the client in Moxie so I can start working with the client, but an hour or two later, the client was added by Moxie again, the lead engine. How do we avoid duplicate clients? That's a really good question. And we are working through some Moxie anytime you're joining a new platform, we're going to work through a few things like that. But if you got it from Ojo or OpCity or us, right? If you got it from the brokerage, it will already be in our system. We don't give out leads without having them in the system first, because that's the only way we can track it. Does that make sense? Did I say that?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So Moxie is still a new system, and we're kind of beta testing it from my understanding still, it's not rolled out to everyone yet. And Jimmy is doing an amazing job with it. So if you haven't been to a Moxie class with Jimmy yet, do when he comes to your office.
I guess that's what's hard when I'm talking about referrals, in the sense of if you got something that didn't directly come from Century 21 Beggins. So I do really like that question. So if it already came through, and Jimmy was telling me last night, I talked to him for a moment, that Moxie might take a little while, just like Leighton had just mentioned. It took 2 hours for it to show up, but then it showed up twice. So yeah, again, enter them in if it's not coming from Century 21 Beggins. If it's a company generated referral already, though, we will have it in the system, and there is no need for you to enter it in at that moment.
That's a good rule of thumb. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. and if without you asking where they're going or just talking to people, you're leaving free money on the table. There was, I want to say 2 years ago, Laura Mesa Wolf, amazing agent, right? She totally sees the value in this program. So she made an extra like $21,000 that year. And Lauren Fletchman as well made an extra $21,000 that year. Those ladies rocked it.
And here's the great thing about outgoing referrals. When you place them through the relocation department, you get to keep 100% of that check. Craig doesn't make any money off of outgoing referrals. So it's all you. So don't leave that free money on the table. Because again, it's a great way for you to generate that additional income. So we will take care of everything for you guys when you place them. And if you would like, we can show you how quickly it takes to register a customer.
So I actually hyperlinked the bottom one for begginsreferrals.com.
Sorry, it's being a little slow.
Appreciate you saving my butt.
I got you, girl. So here's the top of it. If you're not sure if this is an outgoing referral, or if you're not sure, just put other and I will take care of it for you guys. I'm pretty familiar with the system and everything, but I will definitely take care of everything for you guys. So this is what you do. You just click on it's an outgoing referral. We do need everything that has a red asterisk put in. So we definitely need the customer's name and phone number.
You can put yourself in if you want, just as
yes,
or you don't have to, but it's super easy. It's literally typing in basic contact information.
If you don't know the address, because we don't always know all the addresses, you can put your office's address if you need to, but if you do have the customer's address, that's fine. I don't want you to stress about that.
And don't let that prevent you from putting it in there, because you can use zeros or any street or something like that for the purpose of that.
Yes. So we'll definitely need their cell phone number. We definitely need an email address. And always need to know if you did ask the customer's permission, because never submit an outgoing referral without telling your customer that, hey, I'm going to get you set up with our relocation department. We've had a few phone calls where they're like, who are you? Why are you calling me? So make sure you let your customer know that we're going to be reaching out to them, and somebody from another office will be reaching out to them also. And this is the section that Ashley was talking about, or additional comments. Like if you want to interview the agent, or if you want to interview 2 agents, you can put those types of requests in there. So don't be afraid to put as much information as possible, because we definitely are going to need it.
So you don't have to know who you're giving the referral to. You're just registering them to be taken care of.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Because I will take all of their information and then I will go into our system with Realogy and search which brokerages service that area. So let's just say they're looking in Jacksonville. I know that there's about 4 other brokerages up there, and I will look at who's doing the best and look at their conversion rate. So that way you're going to get a top agent. And the great thing about placing it with the relocation department is that when we get these assigned to other brokerages, these aren't going to just some Joe Schmo realtor who just got their license a day ago. These are going to be qualified agents. They're going to have a background check. So they're going to be like you guys, the A game. So definitely make sure you send everything through us. I will say one thing that I definitely need, because I've been seeing this a little bit, is I need a city. Please don't put California. Where at in California are they going? That's kind of a big state. So if you can, please, please, please put a city or a zip code or a general area. And if you have any of this additional information, put it in. If not, don't worry about it, but let's just get it taken care of and I will do everything for you guys. I will let you know who the assigned agent is and who the assigned office is also.
So if there is and to that point, if there is 2 cities that you're interested in, you can also put that in the comments. So that way so we'll look at how close the, they physically are to each other. And if we need to assign it to 2 separate brokerages, then we will do that as well to make sure you are covered as the agent in both sides. Now, I do want to make one thing kind of clear. When we say all referrals into the system, we mean all referrals, even if your friend at Keller Williams had sent you something, or if you had already promised it to a brokerage that isn't like a network brokerage. This way, we keep the referral agreement for you. So we, guarantee that we have that, the backup of that. So it's all referrals, not just network, but we do appreciate the opportunity to go through the network, because there are a few positives on that too. Lots of positives. I mean, all positives. I've had multiple people tell me before that they had already found another agent. They went through them and then they complained about the other agent the whole time. Right. Like, because I don't have the ability to call that person's relo director or their broker, so we do have a little bit more control to take care of you.
And if for some reason your name does not show up in the drop down, go ahead and just click I'm not on the drop down list and I'll get you added into the system. And then you just hit submit and then I get a little alert and then I will get it taken care of for you guys probably within about an hour. That's kind of my goal, is to get it taken care of that quickly for you guys.
I didn't know you added that. I love it.
I didn't add it, but I'll take all the credit for it. So sure. No.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so right here, when we're talking about using relocation services, we're talking about some of our in-network partners, right? And it's not always Century 21s. Let's say you don't have somebody in Alaska that you already know, right? Then specifically chosen full-time agents, right? You as the referring agent, again, can interview upon your request. It's not every single time though. And technically they are supposed to call you and introduce themselves to you before they reach out to your client. However, if that's something that, that we need to reiterate, because again, I'm not in control of agents in Alaska, then please put that in the comment section as well. Then there's a guaranteed payment. Right. So Relogy rolled this out probably like 4 or 5 years ago, where if for some reason some broker decided to dispute it or the broker closed for some reason, not that that's happening right now, but then Relogy will back that and give you your money. And I think that they've only had to use that like one time in history so far out of those 5 years, because these brokers are so well vetted and they look at every aspect. Again, it's not always a Century 21. We also work with ERA, Better Homes and Gardens, Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, and the Corcoran Group. But again, also remember, just because it is a specially vetted network, that just because there's a Century 21 one place doesn't mean that they're necessarily in the network and you would get this type service either, right? So one other thing that's really cool about it, again, I put 100% of Craig's money.
So what if you have a realtor friend in Atlanta and you want to refer to him? You still enter it in this system and you designate that?
Yes, please just put it in. And for that, I might come back with a message or two, but if you can remember, we need to know the percentage that you agreed upon, because I can't negotiate that for you, like at that point. Because I'll occasionally get the hey, how much should I get for it? And I'm like, I don't know. What'd you talk about? And they said, well, what do you think? I'm just like, that part, if it's out of the network, then that's an agreement between the two of you, right? And then, so the broker's name, the percentage, and the client's name to even get the referral agreement like executed. So, and we definitely want to do that when we're sending it out, because we don't want any dispute later. And really, we don't have that very often. I mean, usually brokerages are pretty reasonable about that kind of thing, but but just in case, we don't want to have to do that. Okay. Well, then what do we do if another agent reached out to you? I'm just kind of looking at time real quick. For some reason, all my screens like went wacky. Okay. So again, okay, that's why you moved ahead. Heard. We're talking about this exactly. If you get the referral agreement, agreed upon percentage, contact information, and really contact information of the referring agent, referring brokerage, and all the client information, including phone numbers and emails, so that we can provide that up front. But at bare minimum, we're going to need their name and the brokerage information and the percentage. And then we would have to, it's kind of a back and forth kind of process. So if you've got all that information, then we'll get it all done, like one and done, we're good, right? Email, relocation@z21be.com. If you need any sort of help with the referral agreement, and then the email address goes to both Megan and myself for a fastest response. But I mean, it covers it a lot better, right? Megan, you want to finish?
Yes. So yeah, if you guys need help with preparing a referral agreement or anything, definitely reach out to us. I'll help you guys. I'll get it set up, and I'll even send it out for signatures to the other agent for you guys. Yes, if you can. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, this is kind of Sammy's thing right here.
Yeah. So what happens is basically, you know, all is said and done, you've got the referral agreement set up. Your deal sheet will, if you're on the listing side of things, if you're on the buying side of things, there's a section on the listing deal sheet, a section on the contract deal sheet for referral information, right? So that's a second catch, because a lot of the times I'll get a loop and the agent will put a referral on their deal sheet, but they don't have paperwork in the loop, right? So your loop is really your one-stop shop, and you want to have everything in there for records and for, you know, you can look back and say, oh yeah, this was a referral to this, let me get their information, and it's there for you. You don't have to search your emails, you don't have to search your documents on your computer, it's there for you in one place. So do take advantage of that. The deal sheet is there for you and the lifetime of your transaction, so it's all in one place. The mortgage is there, the title is there, your referral information is there, the other agent's information is there, the client's information is there. And at time of contract, right, so I'm entering into our systems the data, and I enter the referral and I enter the cut, and that has to be accurate for time of closing for the checks to be right? So help us help you get paid directly and correctly, because if I have a referral and, you know, I defaulted to 25% to get it entered in the system, and then you come back and tell me, oh, it's 30 at time of closing, right? So just be diligent and yeah, that just fill out your paperwork as quickly as you can, as accurately as you can. And if you do have any confusion, you know, the relocation department is there for you.
Fill out your deal sheet completely.
Yes,
Yes.
I told her I would.
Yeah, because that really helps us enter it into our systems, right? There's so much behind the scenes that you guys don't have to deal with because we take care of it for you. And we don't know the transaction as well as you guys do. So we need the information from you about your transaction. Unfortunately, we're not mind readers, right? So that kind of comes down to it. If you have a 30% referral fee, if you have 35% referral fee with a friend and you put that on your deal sheet, perfect. We won't need any more information from you, right? So that's the thing, like, we don't want to have to stop the process to reach out to you to get the information, because it just slows things down. So we want to be quick for you. We want to get it done for you, and we don't want anything to be held up.
Yeah, which is, you know, we want to, there's accounting and back office, they all work so hard. We want to just make sure that we don't even have to backtrack on something. What if you had taken a referral, right, and forgot to fill out your deal sheet completely? And then, you know, maybe Joy or Jessica and Joy, they're cutting checks. And then you say, oh, I forgot, this actually has to go back to, XYZ broker in Texas. So then they have to stop what they're doing, redo all their systems, and then cut 2 checks, right? So we're trying to get you paid faster, right? At the end of the day. Okay, Donna had a really good question. For Zillow Flex referrals, do we need to add in the referral agreement from .loops templates? No. Well, no. If it's something that is company generated, that is an agreement that Craig has made with Zillow, right? And then Craig has made with Op City and the other sources. Okay. So there's not, I mean, I believe some referral sources, and I'm assuming that Zillow does this as well, that they send an additional referral agreement to the agent. But no, that was just for the Zillow's, get the agent's information purposes only from Zillow. So it's like as a higher level has already been taken care of, and subsourced, you know, also Anne has done a really good job at building out all the, and Jimmy for sure, building everything out to where there's different sources. So it will say Zillow source, and that will trigger Jessica to say, oh, okay, this is a Zillow referral, but also we want to make sure that that's also on the deal sheet. So that's kind of how that goes.
Because yeah, so if it is a Zillow referral, if it is an Op City, if it's a company generated referral, and the deal sheet does have a section for buyer source or seller source, and it does ask, there's a box to check if it's office generated or agent generated, and 9 times out of 10 that's not checked. And that's fine because we can kind of figure it out for ourselves, but it is a nice catch for you to say, you know, this is a Zillow Flex, I know it's generated from the office. So it's kind of a catch for you too, to say, okay, wait, where does this come from? What am I owed? Who is owed what? And so we kind of want you to know as well if it's company generated, if it's agent generated, and what that means for you.
So Sam, what are a few things that we can do as agents to help you and the back office in some of the process?
Yeah, fill out your deal sheet. It really comes down to, you know, we're as good as the information we get. So when we're entering it into our systems, we want it to be right, especially with referrals, because, you know, that's money. And if you have any questions about the deal sheet, if you have any questions about your paperwork, if you have any questions about, you know, anything, contracts is here to help, relocation is here to help, closings team is here to help. So just reach out and communicate. And, you know, even if it's a silly question that you know the answer to, you just want to double check, ask, right? We're here for you. And, you know, that's kind of the perk of it all, is that you have someone you can ask a silly question to. You have someone that you can ask a hard question to, right? So just really knowing that we're all part of a moving wheel and there's many moving pieces. And also we're going to add some of this information from this morning meeting to the resource center. So, you know, there will be a guide for you to reach out to and look at and know. So really rely on that resource center.
What are a couple things that are, I know you already mentioned, like one of the things that's commonly left out off the deal sheet is whether it's agent generated or company generated. What are other things that are common that we can help?
Yeah, everything. Really, I mean, it depends on the situation, right? It depends on the agent. Some agents are really good at filling it out and being as thorough as possible. And some aren't, and that's fine. Not everything on the deal sheet needs to be filled out for the back office purposes, but a lot of it does need to be filled out because, you know, that's our 1-page reference sheet. Just talking, you know, one part of a moving piece, that's a big piece of it for us, entry wise. So yeah, you know, fill out, if you're, for example, I just had this happen yesterday, the new home warranty, this is kind of off topic, but the new home warranty system requires us to put in the title information. It requires us to put in the buyer's contact information and all this stuff, right? So somebody turned in a contract yesterday and had that their buyer was going to be paying the global home warranty elite plan, right? So they didn't have to have an application in the file because it was part of the contract. And since they had filled out their deal sheet completely, I was able to take the title information and their buyer information from the deal sheet and put that in the system instead of stopping and asking them to fill that out, instead of stopping and asking them to fill out an application and have their client do more work, right? So it's little things like that you don't really even know about as the agent, just because it's back office handlings and we do it for you. So stuff like with the referral agreement, if you have that filled out, if you have the percent on there, we don't have to stop and ask, hey, I see a referral on the deal sheet. What's the percent? Because I ask that from time to time, right? It doesn't happen a lot, but that does happen. And then, it stops the process. And then we rely on you to reply. So it's kind of stuff like that. The deal sheet and the information on it and the information on the referral agreement goes further than you might think it does. It has a wider serving purpose.
That's a good way to put it, really. Just
Yeah.
because, we're getting so big, even
Yeah, we
much
are.
bigger than we even were. And we're already the #1 in the Southeast, right? Hey, Megan, would you mind going back to the bright circle one slide? And then, of course, there's going to be more and more of these referral sources that are popping up. So that's why I really want you to see that. And this doesn't even include them all. Megan's probably thinking of like 5 out there that are just not included. But we just want to make sure that you understand that all of these sources, and then there's going to be like 20 more bubbles by next year, and then 50 more bubbles, because all of these different, there's all kinds of different lead sources that are popping up and developing, just as, the industry changes.
Yeah.
The internet. I know people had always talked about having to flip through MLS books. I wasn't there, but I definitely had to fax some stuff.
Mhm.
And I started in Bradenton, Florida, like 16 years ago, right? With a Century 21, actually, Century 21 Alliance. And it was kind of crazy. There was this one lady that would, bless her heart, probably had to sit on a little phone book to get there, but she would physically drive it over to every single tiny little thing. So we've definitely come a long way. And again, it's not going to change. We just need to make sure that we're aware of it.
Yeah.
And making sure that we're addressing it so that we optimize our paychecks and we don't get stuck with something that really is unnecessary and we can prevent ahead of time.
The main thing is we don't want to get stuck with 2 referral sources. And, you can help us out with that by registering your client. And at the end of the day, that really is what it comes down to. We don't want you to be stuck with 2 referral sources and having to pay an extra referral fee. It's a company referral. So the brokerage is the one who is taking that hit, right? So we want to lessen that.
And not necessarily if Craig had not, if let's say somebody did, let's say in that situation, if it had already come through an op city and say an agent did not provide the referral agreement to Craig or relocation, then it's not being double checked. And then you are saying, well, this person sends me 25% leads all the time. And then Craig's like, well, it's not a valid referral agreement. I have to pay op city.
Mhm.
Right. And then you were just going to have, and we just don't need to even have that conversation, especially after it's already under contract or if it's gotten all the way to the PAC situation, that's, so basically if it's gone to under contract, then it's kind of too late for me. So if we could do it as soon as possible, then that would be good for sure.
So in the chat, Michael Clayman said, on a different note, when the listing shows commission is 2.5 minus 300, does that mean the listing agent receives 2.5 and Beckons only receives 300, or does it mean something else? It does mean something else. The 2.5, so this could be referring to like an MLS fee, I'm assuming, because in MLS, you'll see that there's the commission minus the dollar amount, right? So the dollar amount is the MLS fee. It's what the brokerage is charging. So our listings get a $300 MLS fee unless it's in Sarasota or Manatee County. So the co-broke is then charged the $300 and that goes to us. But it's that 2.5% that is split between the brokerage and the agent. So that 300 is kind of part of the commission, but also not at the same time. I hope that makes sense. The 2.5% is what the commission is, and 300 is a separate fee. if you're on the listing side, it'll be given to the listing side. It's procured by the listing side. If it's not, it's deducted to make that up kind of. So the 2.5% is the commission being split by the brokerage and the agent. I hope that answered.
Okay, so yeah, so and when it says MLS, you're only seeing what the listing broker is offering you,
Yeah.
right? So you don't know what they're making on the other side. You will find out on the Alta, but technically you don't know when you're writing that contract and going through that process. So the minus 300, you're gonna
Be deducted.
your split is off of what that check is for Beggins. So if it's a minus 300, then y'all aren't responsible for it. If there's an additional 300 it's an MLS fee to Beggins. So then it would just be the commission from before.
Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze. And that is different from the brokerage transaction fee. Beggins's broker transaction fee is $325. I know that's different for BE3. And we're working out. I don't know if that's changing or not. I don't think it is, but it is different from what BE3's is, and that is a separate fee. The MLS fee and the transaction fee are separate. Yeah.
Well, really, I mean, is it not very common in Manatee, Sarasota to have minus 3 like MLS fees?
Yeah, Manatee and Sarasota, for some reason, I don't know the exact reason, but Manatee and Sarasota counties don't charge the 300 MLS fee. I think it's just not standard in those counties. So you'll see when we enter a listing there, it's only 3%. We don't put the minus 300.
Really, it's not very common anywhere other than like our immediate, I mean, as far as other states, because
in some offices charge $495, some charge $290. It changes. So 300 is what we do. A lot of other brokerages in this area, yeah, Donna Pinellas does do it. You know, I've seen some as high as 500. So
well, and they're charging us, you know,
yeah.
So that, I mean,
so it comes out of the, so it comes out of the main commission too. If your commission is $100, well, I guess it can't be. If your commission is $1,000, you're going to be deducting that 300 MLS fee from it. That's all it means.
Right. And you know, we're pretty buyer heavy, so it's Beggins that usually kind of takes that hit a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But
so that amount changes. So pay attention to what the commission is offered on MLS, because that will matter to you at the end.
Yeah. Make sure that the title company did it right too. They said that Tuesday.
Yeah. So that's why that area is on the data form or on the deal sheet. I'm sorry, because you can give that to title and they know all of the fees that they're going to have to account for. Right. So that's kind of what Misty was saying on Tuesday is, you know, we make sure that all that information is there. We can hand it to them and they don't need to chase you down for information, because the MLS fee is on there, the transaction fee is accounted for, and your commission is on there. So make sure that you're looking at the MLS compensation and understanding what that means.
And that you do the math.
Yeah.
It was funny. I told Joy one time, I was like, I need a new calculator, you know, the button ones. And she's like, okay. It's like, welcome to 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they, a lot of other states, most other states don't have that. And I know I've had to provide all kinds of documentation to other directors that just, it was completely unacceptable to them.
Yeah.
And what's hilarious is like, she gave me such a hard time and I provided her all the documentations, even down to the fact that this is the check that Beggins received, right? Because it was a buy side transaction. And funny enough, we physically met that same year at a conference.
Of course.
I was like, you're the one that drove me crazy. So yeah, that's definitely how that works. Again, it's kind of at the end of the day, the last slide was just saying, help us help you.
Yeah.
Because we really want to make sure we're making things easy for you. Obviously not in reading our email addresses on that. But again, if you want to just talk to me, send it to Ashley Keena at c21be.com. If you just want to talk to Megan. And then truly for both of us to get the same email at the exact same time, relocation@c21be.com is your best bet, right? So yeah, so I know we've got a couple more minutes. I don't know if you have any other questions or we
Pulling up the chat to see if we answered everything.
The only thing I don't think we answered was Heather a while ago. She said, I'm trying to get everyone cleared out of Zap and transferred to Moxie. It won't release the referral if I delete them in Zap, will it? I asked since it automatically uploads the referral in both systems. I'll let you.
that might be a Jimmy question if
Yeah.
Jimmy's on.
Not sure about
I know
that.
he was on earlier.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a work in progress at the moment because I believe the only reason that there are two systems right now is because Realogy is the lead flow of certain things. They're just making sure that nothing gets missed.
Mhm.
And everything from lead router is supposed to be being pulled in to Moxie. So
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Zap is being pulled into Moxie. I said the wrong word. So would she have to delete something in Zap? Would there be a reason why you would delete something in Zap?
I don't know. I know Jimmy is trying to get contacts transferred. I would just say reach out to Jimmy to make sure. I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction. Yeah, Angie said, Heather, reach out to Jimmy. You migrate your contacts from Zap to Moxie. So maybe you don't delete them, you just transfer. I don't know.
Okay, that would be different than the lead. So the lead would be different than a contact.
Yeah.
Um,
Reach out to Jimmy for anything Moxie. For sure.
yeah. And again, well, cleaning up. Okay. And so I believe we're talking about two different things. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about leads, those are active, whereas contacts would be different unless I'm wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Lauren just said we're supposed to be cleaning up Zap of contacts we don't want to transfer to Moxie.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get everyone cleared out of Zap and transfer to Moxie. Only clear out people in Zap that you don't want to feed over then.
Yes, and leads from Relo are going to both systems, correct, Michelle? Because it is being pulled in there. You will get a notification from Moxie saying that there's a 0% referral fee, but we know that's not true.
And one note that I will say is, Moxie isn't your source, right? So if you write on your deal sheet that your buyer source is Moxie, please don't do that because that's not necessarily true. Moxie is might be where your client's coming from at that time because you're getting the information from there, but you put them in there from your kid's soccer game, you put them in there from Op City, Moxie isn't the source of your lead.
It's simply the CRM.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and it will say for our stuff, it will say that it will come through Moxie, but it'll say that this was a Navy Federal Credit Union file, or this was, and I'm sure it's going to be the same with Zillow and everybody else. So that's your source, not Moxie, not necessarily.
Like sometimes I'll see like lead router as the source and I'm like, okay, but where did that client come from? So that was just a housekeeping.
No, that's a great point for sure, especially as we're changing into this. And I'm excited about Moxie. It's so clean and nice looking, and I'm super excited. So and again, it is saying 0% referral fees on the Moxie side, but it's not on the other documentation that you've accepted and clicked as well through e-relocation. So yeah, help us help you. We are here for you and we're excited to be here. And again, it's more of a agent services and client services as opposed to, it's hard to get rid of your relocation reputation.
Yeah, just think relocation is referrals, right? So, it doesn't have to be out of state. It doesn't have to be corporate relocation, just anything referrals.
We're here to help you.
Thank you all. We're like 3 minutes early.
Yeah.
So
I think we're good.
Enjoy your 3 minutes. Get some girl. Talk to you later. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.